So warm welcome from my side, from sunny Berlin today, after I think weeks of rain.
Oh,
Um, and yeah, as Victor said, we'll record the session also for those that can't make it at this time but are curious on the Q&A. So if you don't want your face to be on video, then it's also okay if you turn off the camera. But of course, we're also happy to see what's happening on the other side. So decide for yourself. And yeah, also warm welcome on behalf of the three camps that are co-hosting. Victor, who's going to represent the Coherence camp. Then we have Vladimir, who made the time. He's in the middle of the production of a healing festival in Czechia at the moment. That's why you see him in full work gear, who's representing Aeternum Life. And then myself, Mohammed from Camp Planetir. And for today's call, I mean, what we want to do is really give most time to questions that are present with you. We also have received a few ahead of the call that we'll go through. So what I will do in the beginning is just a brief overall intention for the gathering and briefly letting each camp present. And then we'll share just an example of what a daily flow can look like at the gathering. Because we are also aware of the fact that when we talk about a burn-like experience and everything is co-created, there's always this mystery of like, okay, but what's actually happening? Um, and so we'll try to shine a bit of light on that, and then yeah, really leave the rest of the time for any question that's there. Is that good for everyone? By show of thumbs, yes, or nod of heads. Great. Cool. Then I would say overall intention for the gathering is really bringing different communities together that are aligned in the vision that we have for the world, and that the people behind it and the people coming are interested in not only, like connecting and exchanging, but actually really exploring how do we make that vision and that world happen. And so the gathering is not only about inspiration and different ways of connecting, but also really of like how can we have the conversations that we need to have to advance different efforts. And so it's a beautiful mix of yeah, people across different disciplines, technology, entrepreneurship, science, but also arts, facilitators and embodiment practitioners, musicians coming together to say like, okay, how can we, yeah, live that culture already today and support one another in that journey. And I would maybe quickly check with Victor if you want to share anything else, because uh, you've already held two, so you know best.
uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, my favorite is to always just to respond to questions,
Mhm.
but the maybe should start with, can I do a 30-second pitch for the gathering? The
Easy.
gathering is a,
Hard to hear.
can you hear me?
We
Is
do.
it, this will be better. So the gathering is a reinvention of festivals and how we come together for our era, taking the best from what we see in the world, from what we see in the history. So you can think of it as an intersection of a transformational festival, a conference, and a trade show, but designed to be transformational for organizations. So that's why the camps are represented by organizations. And yes, we will be transformed and we'll build relationships, but the goal is for the organizations, Planetir, Coherence, Aeternum, and others that come to come out stronger as organizations. Stronger, or I mean, transformation sometimes means that you're on the wrong path and you need to restart and rethink things. But the sooner you discover that, the better. So, using the power of nature to bring us together. I mean, I can talk it for hours of all the little things, and it seems like it's subtle. We're in a field instead of in a hotel in a city. But actually, as it turns out, for the experience of coming together, of getting to know each other, of having deep, meaningful conversations, there is a profound difference in coming together in an open urban environment versus a closed natural environment. Closed in the sense that everybody that you interact for those days is part of the experience, part of the culture. So it's a petri dish for culture of living for these 5 days, the culture that we dream of, right? The world that we dream of, we will probably not convert or 8.5 billion people and 100 whatever countries in our lifetime. But for these few days, we can live fully in the culture that we dream of. That is the opportunity and the invitation.
Nice. And I think the second element to traditional conferences, etc., is that everybody is able to co-create the experience. So if anybody feels called to offer something, share a performance or host a session, etc., then that's absolutely welcome. And there's not only a few speakers or panelists that are displayed, and the rest is just on the consuming end of it. And maybe then quickly diving into the three camps that got together, and the organizations behind it. And I see Vladimir seems to have a quiet space and quiet moment now. So, Vladimir, maybe if you want to briefly share a bit about Aeternum and what you as a camp would love to create and experience during these 5 days.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Joscha, for bringing us together to meet here. And sorry for the disruption, but festival summer is running. So, but I'm happy to meet with everyone. And yes, who we are System Thinking Studio, which is helping in Czechia and Slovakia in a different projects with, let's say, revitalization. So we are hanging into the projects in some moment and trying to make it better. Almost of them are connected somehow with hospitality, care, social engineering somehow, let's say. So that's shortly, and also we grow up for last 20 years. We are organizing events. So this is a very much important connection, which brought us into the idea to connect with the gathering, and somehow we start to plan the Gathering Czechia. So we are acting there like an production base camp for the Gathering Czechia organization. That's one part. But I want to talk a little bit about this Aeternum Life camp right now, which will be represented there by me and two other facilitators. And we have a very short, brief message or our target, and it is to connect people across Central and Eastern Europe for regenerative ideas, regenerative innovations, and different talks in these topics, because I feel strongly that Czech Republic, Poland, Romania, and all these countries, they want to connect and collaborate somehow, but there is no extra good platform. So That's the idea of the camp Aeternum. Firstly, to meet personally with different people and make connections. And later, after the Gathering Czechia, will be great to have that platform, that network, which will continue in our work. And that's why our topic for the Gathering Czechia under flag of Aeternum Life, it's called Connecting Dots. So we are trying connecting right people into one platform and then work together for bringing better solutions for Central Europe and Eastern. Giving back my voice to Joshua. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vladimir. Nice. And then the second camp we have is the Coherence camp. And I would let Victor share briefly what that is going to be about and what maybe your week looks like.
So, Coherence is a. I started the gathering 2 years ago as a way to reinvent and experiment with new formats of coming together in person. But I very quickly realized that coming together online is a key part of our lives, and we actually need tools to come better together online. And also, every physical event, as we are demonstrating here, right? This is part of the Czechia event, but here we are online in a Zoom. Everything that's physical is online as well. And there didn't feel like there was a good way of supporting physical event organizers to create engagement of participants of an event or a conference before the event and after the event. So Coherence is an attempt to create those tools. uh, Also, I am thinking and inviting conversation around the big picture of what we're calling the Regen OS, which is the culture and technologies for a regenerative society. What the hell does that mean? I have no idea, but I think it sounds like a very interesting and important question because I guess one key idea to remember about coherence is that it's built on the belief that for humanity to move forward, we need to have societal, cultural, spiritual consciousness evolution go hand in hand with technological evolution. We can't have technologies going off doing their own thing. We tried that with Web3, not a deeply grounded technological movement doesn't get far. And we all know all kinds of spiritual, semi spiritual movements which do not connect with the real world and thus don't have the impact that they could potentially have. So that's at the core of coherence. Big conversations, as well as very about the future of humanity, as well as very practical conversations of launching a coherence online event around these ideas, as well as building the coherence app in partnership with a bunch of other organizations, and trying to figure out actually this is in a way this gathering is date night between coherence and planeteer because we're trying to figure out if going forward we can work together deeper, and we invite lots of other organizations also working on technology to come and do a group dating night of figuring out how we can all work better together going forward. Over to you, Josh.
Perfect. Yes. And I think it's less about if we're working together, but more how we're working together. And I think that's the beauty that we're also experiencing already over the last 6 months or so, that there are more and more entrepreneurs in the tech field that are also working on foundational solutions that have the expressed intention and commitment to say, how do we really work and act more as one ecosystem? And there's a lot of ecosystem builders. So we have a lot of these conversations on community of communities, ecosystem of ecosystems. But what is the kind of mechanisms and, as Victor said, like the culture of like how do we relate and how do we support, do we create synergies between these different organizations in order to out collaborate existing big tech and whatever the system has created so far. And so that will also be part of the experience on site. And these conversations will be very concrete on like, okay, what is it that what do we need to go through to arrive at that point of closer collaboration? And then Planetir is the third camp. Um, and Planetir overall is an ecosystem platform that is helping you share your story, find your people, and grow your capacity to take action. And then also finding and seizing the opportunities where you can do that. And so, kind of grounding the connection that can happen in a digital space or also in a conference into concrete activities moving forward, whether that is by finding collaborators or co-founders, other allies, or the right people as sparring partners, people that give feedback, but really also as we're moving into or towards this vision, we all need to grow our skills and the capacities to be able to do that and to really embody that change that we want to see in the world. And so there's a second angle that is really about learning with one another and from one another, because we believe that every one of us has already figured out a lot of things in their lives, and has something to teach. And likewise, there is a lot that we're all still figuring out, and the next step that we're doing on our individual journeys. And by using our collective intelligence and amplifying this with AI tools, both on the platform, but then also at the gathering, we believe we're able to actually put the right people together, surface the right conversations, etc., so that this next step on our journey feels a bit easier. Um, and yeah, our intention for the week is really going to be uh, that, like, how can we do this better? How can we learn with and from one another and move into a space where we really take action together? And so, this question of what can we do together that we cannot do alone is a guiding one for the week. And also this balance between the masculine and the feminine. Like in traditional conferences, we have a lot of this like push and blasting and who's speaking the loudest, etc. And so we will have focused like work slots and collaborations, project acceleration labs, but then we also have this side of just being together and sitting together with music, with arts, just having downtime and moments of reflection to really find a good balance and harmony in our weekly experience together. And at the same time, also just leave space for the conversations that we need to have in this really difficult time for many, with what's happening in the world, with many conflict zones, and just creating space to be there with one another. And I can maybe check with Victor in terms of a daily flow. Do you have something like that that you would like to briefly share for coherence of like how a daily flow in the camp could look like?
I mean, in the morning, there will be some morning practices, hopefully at our camp or at other camps, and doing a morning circle. So just to check in with everybody. I think the circle is the basis of community and of everything that we're doing. And actually, a good circle is usually more than enough, especially if you enable it to spiral out to other things that people want to do. And then we will have I guess, probably two work streams of activities. One is just the coherence conversation, so there will be ongoing stream of recorded coherence conversations. And the workshops, we will have to decide, but workshops on booting up the organization. My goal is to come out with as much of a plan as possible for the coherence app. So we're starting two businesses in partnership with many other organizations. Uh, I have let me find the overall flow to the week. Maybe that can be useful. Right. Let me screen share that. So, uh, Monday and Tuesday are preparation days. If somebody wants to arrive earlier, talk to us. We can organize you coming to organize. Then on Wednesday, we have the arrival day. So, and camp welcome. The usual tradition of the gathering now is a opening ceremony at sunset, which will be co-created, and a celebration dinner, and I presume sleep early. This is always a balance, but the idea is that this is not a it's not a party, right? I mean, we have a celebration night on Saturday. Oh, when I said not a party, somebody dropped out. Oh well. But it's good. It's important to get these things clear. So there'll be a celebration evening on Saturday. We need to decide with Vladimir, but I imagine no later than two music. Uh, on Friday, I don't know. I think Friday acoustic evening would be nice. And there is camp program for each days. And then on Sunday at noon. By the way, did you guys know that 12 o'clock is not when the sun is the highest?
No.
This was a one of those astronomical things like you assume, but then it turns out no, the sun does its own thing, with the clock does its own thing. So anyway, somewhere between 12 o'clock and the sun actually being highest in the thing, there is the depart closing ceremony, which we will co-design during the event. At least that's been the tradition for the gathering, and then we go home.
Nice. And then I can maybe share a bit more. Um, well, I don't want to say concrete because obviously all of this is um, for us to design, but maybe you can see it. I'm just trying to make it a bit bigger. How a morning or how a flow can look like.
Can you make it even more bigger or to go into full screen? Because you're sharing your entire screen.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, I think it's getting better.
Yeah.
Even bigger, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Cool. And we're here. Exactly. So morning, there will be some embodiment or movement session to yeah kind of arrive in the day in our bodies, and then Victor was already mentioning morning circles to check in and also see like what how do we want to set the tone for the day together, and obviously breakfast. And then there will be an activation or activity, and these are just some examples of the sessions that can or will happen. From like ranging on AI and collective intelligence, also like how do we design AI systems that really support and enhance our humanity rather than distracting us from it. We at Planetir we always have these mastermind or master heart circles that are also really powerful, where we can bring personal, professional challenges, something we're trying to figure out, a quest that we have to tap into the collective intelligence of the group. Then a longer lunch break to also just have some downtime, connect deeper with people that we've met, and maybe also just take a moment for ourselves. And then afternoon is yeah more around creation and flow. So this can be project acceleration labs. We've done constellation work in the past. It can also facilitate these conversations that we were mentioning with this group of entrepreneurs and builders, etc., that really want to move more towards being one ecosystem. And then kind of tuning out of the day with evenings of connection, celebration. And celebration doesn't necessarily need to be a party. But we have some beautiful musicians as part of our camp that are hosting sound journeys, singing circles, where, yeah, we really can harmonize also as a group, come together and spend evenings by the fire, under the stars. And then, as Victor said, one longer celebratory evening. And the rest is really upon us to decide in the mornings, like, okay, how do we want to flow together as a group? What is it that we want to create? Because what is so beautiful about these spaces where we do not have a completely fixed agenda is that we can really leave space for emergence, and something that really wants to be there can get the space it needs, so that we also feel if there is something popping up for me, a topic or something that's really burning for me, then we can create space for it. And that way, really, yeah, kind of tune into what do we as a collective want to make out of the experience. I will stop sharing here. And again, this is really to give inspiration and a bit more insight into what can happen. There's also obviously the possibility if someone, I don't know, needs to take calls, wants to work on something, to just find a quiet space and do that, embedded into nature. That can also be sometimes quite productive. So really kind of integrating work and life. Mohammed, you were unmuting, so I'm not sure if you wanted to share something.
Yeah, actually, we wanted to just talk about an example of something concrete, because a lot of these, there is this space for co-creation, but something that we love to do in these gatherings and the residencies that we've held is masterminds or master hearts. And it's really an incredibly insightful and can be even a transformational experience to sit in a camp in a group of people and just offer a place that you're stuck in your life or something that you're working on, that you really need to tap into this, as Joscha was saying, this collective wisdom or collective intelligence. So the way that the sessions run is in advance, 2 or 3 people will essentially prepare their offering and will set an intention in the circle and it gets shared. And with that, you invite others to essentially, after deep active listening, to support with their guidance. And this is going to be a really magical experience of, allowing vulnerability to flow in, as Joscha said, to be able to move from, is this something that I actually need problem solving? Or is it maybe an area that I really just needed some deep listening to? And both are valid. So there's just something concrete I wanted to share that we will definitely be running this time.
Yeah. And there's a beautiful adaptation of it that Alex is also usually running, who's not here today, which is called a golden connection session. So you basically, again, sit in a group of people and you say, look, what is the one connection that would really change something for me? And you bring this out loud, and you'll be surprised by how many people actually can facilitate that connection in a circle of already like 8 or 10 people. And if we're sitting there with 20, that magic is even better. So to really, like help us advance on whatever we're working on. And with that, I would open the floor and see what questions are there for you, of why you were maybe curious to also be here in person. Maybe it's just to listen in, but any question that is present, we're happy to take.
Joscha, maybe just before that, in case Vladimir has anything else he wanted to share from his flow. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe just shortly about the location, about the place where we are going to build our gathering. Shortly, we were looking for a very nice hidden place in the nature. We choose this one, which is near to a small city called Hostomice. I just realized that it is quite funny because 25 years ago, or how long, there was the first Czech Tech, which was like the biggest rave event starting a new era of raves coming into Central Europe and Eastern Europe from London.
Nice.
So it's quite funny, but it is not the same place. We are on very nice sacred space, a place of my friend who has 20 acres of land there. He is living in a very nicely reconstructed mill in the middle of the place. And he has a nice base camp, safe space called Eco Camp, which will be our first part of the Gathering Czechia camp or space, together with very nice fire and teepee. And then we will build a nice and short walk through the wild forest. And we will head into a very nice field, which is covered or around our high trees. And there is nothing else. And we will build there everything for our comfort right now this year. So we are planning to build, of course, and glamping tents for our friends and not customers, but participants. We will also build one or two another round places for connections, workshops, and meeting together. And we are right now working on a good type of gastronomy with two different people who are preparing a food menu and setup for us. Also, it is quite tricky for us because we have to bring there also electricity, water, and everything else. So we are really building from scratch, but in super wild nature. And I'm happy to answer any other logistics questions later. I just want to open that talk. So if someone will be interested into see where it is, he can put into Google Maps Eco Camp Hostomice, and he will see the location plus some basic photos. So that was an invitation from a land, and I'm giving a word back right now, and we'll see what the questions will bring up. Thank you.
Thank you, Vladimir. And we're just going to post the location in the chat so people can also find it easily. Cool. Then, yeah, the floor is open for any question that you have for us.
And maybe when you pop in, say your name, say where you are physically now. One other question, something we can place people other than their, what do we want people to say? Usually I'm mean and I ask, what does regeneration mean to you? But that's a dangerous rabbit hole. So let's just say, tell us your name and your place and your question. And if nobody comes up with questions, we're just going to do a circle round of reflections and what's on your mind.
I have a question.
I have a question.
Okay,
Amazing.
you can go first.
Sophia.
So my name is Sophia, yeah. I am now in Tunisia. And I've seen the plan, Joscha, thank you. And I was just, you know my practice, some of you know my practice, and I've seen in the afternoon constellation space. So I just wanted to know, what does mean constellation for you?
What does it mean for you? Because you might be the one holding the session.
It means Sophia.
It means Sophia. Yeah.
So this is what I thought. Okay, just checking. Wonderful. I love facilitating those spaces. So that's great. Okay, that was my question. And I'm happy to meet you from afar and maybe from close soon.
Thank you, Sophia.
Okay, so I have like two questions. I'm Janina, I'm from Augsburg, Germany. And a friend of mine would love to join, but she can't be there today. And she has a 9-year-old daughter and a dog whom should both join if this is possible. The 9-year-old, she's a really amazing girl. She's so bright and active, and my friends is a little bit worried if she's going to get bored when she's not able to join some of the offerings. So if there's space for a 9-year-old and also a really, really nice dog. It's the first part of my question.
I will answer that question. Yeah, it is possible. Also, Jan, the owner of that mill, he has 3 dogs there, but they have their own place and your own space, and childs are always invited. So we will definitely look for the right, I don't want to say entertainment, but activities for them. Depends on how many and in which ages we will have our young youth community. I'm also bringing my older son, 15 years old, who will be participating as a volunteer there. So I'm preparing also some joining or inviting others to make some practice, make some small works to be a part of organization, let's say. So that's one part, and the rest will come up after. We will see if we have 4, 5, 6, and how old, and then maybe we will decide also to bring some nice guy or girl to help us to organize for them something. But they are always welcome for sure, and dogs are not the problem. Just you have to remember that it is open space. So it is huge and big nature and forest. So of course it's up to you to keep the connection with the dog, but otherwise allowed.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And so the continuing question is, how is the ticket for the child, for the 9-year-old? Is there a normal ticket to buy, or is it some other thing going on? So yeah.
Vladimir, yeah.
Yeah. We were planning some participation payment, and of course the question is about accommodation. Yeah, because as we are building the whole camp, it depends on if your family needs own tent or what kind of accommodation you will decide. Then it will need the payment for an accommodation anyway. And about the participation, I think that we were talking about 50% of the ticket or 40% of the ticket, something like that.
Okay. Thanks a lot. This answered all of my questions. Thank you.
Happy to.
Beautiful. Thank you, Anina. Then let's see if we have others from the audience.
Rama, I remember when we were talking, you had some questions around accommodation, and I know Vladimir talked a little bit about it, but if there's anything else there you'd like to know about, I'm sure there's others that would also be curious to hear it.
Yeah, it would be. Hi, I'm Rama from Jordan. Yeah, I would love to understand more about accommodation because there are different price ranges and different number of people in different rooms. So it'd be good to understand that better.
Yeah. I mean, I can already start. So the basic ticket fee, so to say, is basically including, okay, if someone is bringing their own tent and pulls it up in the camp. If you want to have accommodation there, then there is this glamping tent option and we have either glamping tents for 2 or for 4. So you would either be sharing with one other person or with up to 3 people. And that's, I would say it's a convenient option. Vladimir, from what I know, there are normal mattresses in these glamping tents. They're quite comfortable. And then there are some, yeah, nice bungalows or tiny houses on the property that you could otherwise also choose from. Yeah, you can see them there on the um, on the on the images. And that's the priciest option, so to say, because they have, from what I understand, their own bathroom and they're a bit more secluded.
Yes, just confirmation. There are two categories. One is this permanent eco camp, which is built into containers with bed and everything else. And then we are going to build these glamping tents from our friends who are bringing up these tents together with bed, and as Joscha says, so that's these two categories. Correct. Also, you are allowed to bring everything what you want to bring, means that inside of the Gathering ticket is a possibility to build your own. It is not a problem.
And Vladimir, am I right in thinking that when we get participants lists and there is, for example, shared accommodation, we'll make sure that it's women are staying with women and that it's all done in a way that, yeah, okay, that's how it happens in previous years as well. So if you're choosing to share in a glamping tent,
At the same time, we're a small number of people, so I don't think we can promise gender separation. If can we? I mean, we should have separate tickets if we want to do that.
Vladimir, you're on mute.
Yeah, I can. I think as I see the orders right now, that almost of the orders comes for canvas glamping tent for 2. So I think that it will fit into separating tents for women and men, men's, and if there will be one single or something like that, we will sort it out for sure. So we don't have to put the mixture. If there will be something like that, we will talk individually. But yes, and bathrooms will be separate. Yes, of course.
Thank you. Other questions that are present? I know, Priya, you also had some that were fielded to you before. So let's see.
Yeah,
if
I've had a couple of people ask about participation in terms of being there the whole time. And we've sort of said where possible, in the spirit of having this kind of closed circle, like a container, as Victor was saying, it would be great if you can come for the whole thing. However, we don't want you to miss on the opportunity, and we'd love to have you there than not at all. So yes, where possible, come, and there's some allowances for dropping in. We'd just rather that, for example, if you need to leave for the last couple of days, that's fine. Be there for the opening so that we can all set the intention together. And we are also now opening some weekend tickets. This was really designed for some of the kind of the local community, the Czech community, who are living very close, and just making it more accessible for the local community to be able to maybe come for the last couple of days, where we open up more from our respective camps into kind of a broader collective. So in short, yeah, do consider coming anyway, even if you can't make it for the whole thing, and just check in with one of us, and yeah, we'll make something work.
Thank you, Priya.
I have one more question. How is it going to be? When do we choose the camps? Are we doing it in advance? Are we doing it on the first day? Or how is it going to be working out?
Yes, you'll receive a follow-up from us once you purchased your ticket, between ticket purchase and the beginning of the event, where you can then choose your camp affiliation. And we'll try to do that with a bit of advance because since there is the possibility to co-create, the sooner you are part of a camp, the sooner you can also already get involved with anything you would wish to share or offer. So if you already know, then you can also already contact the respective camp. We can add you to the WhatsApp group or wherever the preparation is happening. But yeah, thank you for the question.
Another question I've been asked as well is around the travel. So most people may be traveling and flying into Prague. So from arriving from Prague to the actual to the eco camp, Vladimir, is that something that we'll be having, transport and shuttles and things?
Yeah, there is a nice connectivity with train, not exactly going to the location, but not far. And we are planning to do some shuttle from the train station, which will be the most eco version, I think. And also, it is nice because it is not far. It's like 40 minutes or similar distance from Prague. Yeah, so this will be the preferred version. Otherwise, we can, of course, make some share car going twice or three times from Prague city center, which is like a similar time of travel. It's 1 hour, 1 hour of 10 minutes, depends on the transportation time. Yeah, so yeah, from Prague, we will do some sharing, or train.
Yeah, I also checked the train connection, and then from there shuttle. It's actually a quite convenient option. So there's not. I think there's either no change of trains or maximum one, and then you're already 2-3 kilometers from the festival site, and the shuttle will be able to pick you up there.
Yeah, also for we were on last location check, we were looking for a parking. If we will come with more cars, we will have a one field for parking, which is 250 meters far from our location, 250 meters. So just a walking distance, of course.
And also quick input as well around food. I know Vladimir mentioned there's going to be some local food vendors where it's going to be healthy, and there's also vegetarian options. There's also going to be access to shared kitchens. So if you prefer to make your own food, the food vendors are designed to be at a good, affordable as well. So not super expensive like festival food in Europe usually is. But if you prefer to cook yourself for affordability or whatever reason, there's also kitchens. And you can go to the supermarket before and pick up food and eat that way too, or do a mix.
I mean, maybe one thing, I also received one question, or it was rather um, uh, yeah, let's call it a question. Um, because when we used it's a Burning Man-like experience, there was at least one person that associated with that people would be on LSD and other kind of psychedelics, etc. And so she was a bit hesitant. Um, but it's not that. So when we talk about Burning Man, then we really mean the co-creative emergent element of, like different camps organizing different things, multiple things happening at the same time, and everybody who's participating also being able to create part of the experience. But it's not going to be a substance heavy festival or so. I mean, there might be some people smoking some weed, I don't know. But
I mean, we ask everybody to be that part for me. That part of the co-creation. We ask everybody to be conscious of how they are in this space, and to behave appropriately. There is another part. Some people associate with Burning Man with spending lots of money on plastic junk and then everything being quote unquote free during the festival. But the gathering is not about that. The gathering is very much about supporting, finding, yes, coming together, celebrating in nature, but also finding ways to support our livelihoods, right? So many of the conversations we're going to be having is about our work. And it is in that sense, what in game A they call a professional event, in that the hope is that there will be real outcomes of connections of people that you end up working, communities that you end up joining, teams that you end up joining. So the celebration is there to lubricate the social things, but it's not a 5-day raving banger, because there is a lot of those things in the world. And if that's what you're looking for, you have so much selection. But if you want to thoughtfully, meaningfully gather in the forest with people who you're working with, or who you'd like to work, or who you would like to work with, there isn't that option. And that's where the gathering. You're muted, Joscha. You're muted.
Okay, I just said thank you for also sharing that. Then, I mean, we're 5 minutes to the hour, and just checking if there's any additional question or impulse.
Let's maybe just do a closing circle then and hear a few words from everybody. We can do the usual popcorn. Since I'm speaking, I'll start. Yeah, thank you all for coming. I'm really excited. This is the first gathering that's being organized not by me, but by somebody else. I'm just a camp leader participant, so I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I mean, let's have fun with it. At worst, we're going to have a few wonderful days in a field. At best, we're going to make life-changing connections for our lives. It's August in Central Europe. That's really, really beautiful. It's going to be amazing. Come join us. Vladimir, last few words.
Yeah, I'm really, I have these sparklings in my blood right now, because when I see 16, 17, 18 people already talking about, I see already tickets are selling and I know it's happening. So once more, thanks to everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Victor, for bringing the idea. And thank you, Joscha, for supporting us in the start. And of course, Priya for coming into our circle. And I hope, as Victor says, that in the end of the Gathering Czechia, we will have super nice connections and we will do some magics together. And I don't mean right now magic mushrooms. I mean like real magic in ecosystems and regenerative cultures and other activities. Looking forward.
Joscha, and then pick the next person.
Yeah, I think, I mean, from my side also, thanks for your questions, for the interest, for showing up. And we've now had a few of these experiences in Planetir hosted spaces. So it's also beautiful to now share and co-host the space alongside other organizations and kind of going from here. So I already know the kind of magic that will happen, although I don't know the details. But it's going to be another really beautiful group flow where we're able to tap into parts of ourselves that we don't meet that often. And so I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. And yeah, otherwise, just offering some colorful fingernails as a final one, which you might leave the gathering with as well. And very much looking forward to seeing you there. And I'll pop it to Rama since you're unmuted.
So closing words. I'm excited. I still have more questions, but I'm just trying maybe to go with not knowing. So maybe I need to surrender to not knowing and just let whatever needs to happen happen. So I'm trusting the process. Thank you all.
Nice. Do you want to say
I'll pop it to, Sophia.
No. I was just happy to hear what you said. Go with the not knowing. This is so creative process thing, the way we create our lives also. Thank you, dear. I'm happy to see you there.
Then I'll pop it on behalf of Sophia to Brad.
Hi, everybody. I'm a friend of Victor's, and I'm working with him to create a very large gathering in the United States next year.
Nice.
So I've been eavesdropping on your conversation so I can anticipate some of the challenges and questions that are going to come up. But what I want to say is when Victor told me he wanted to build a global version of the gathering, I said, "You're crazy." But this is showing me now that it is possible and it is happening. So congratulations for being the first. And I look forward to watching your success. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. And excited that you're taking it up in the US. Then is Joanna. Joanna? Let's see if you're with us. Okay. Joanna is dropping out. Thank you. And then giving it to Janina.
Oh, I'm really excited, and I wasn't that sure if I want to come, but now I really have a full body yes. So I'm with a full body yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And looking forward to seeing you then in person. And we're giving it to our little family, Priya, Naila, and Mohammed, to close us up.
Yeah, I mean, very simply, when you gather with like-minded people that also touch your heart, it can really change the course of your life. So no pressure, but I'm really looking forward to gathering.
And I didn't speak yet, so my name is Mohammed, and we're calling in from no, not Berlin right now, from Chemnitz, not far from the Czech border in East Germany. Yeah, for me, over the last few months, I've had many moments when I looked at where the world is at and what we can see through the windows of technology and media, and we get a grasp of where humanity is at. I asked myself, what can I do? And how can I intentionally be a change of that I believe in? And the answer really was to intentionally gather with people and to consciously think about how we want to come together, how we want to form groups, families, organizations moving forward. And this is the closest to this is the gathering that for me came up. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you. And if for somebody who's here right now, it will be logistically difficult to make it this year, this is not a single few days. The point is that it's part of a movement and it's a stream, and you can always make the choice and be part of it. Obviously, I would love to see you and spend the days by the lake with you and our family.
Cool. Then, with that, thank you very much, everyone, for spending this hour with us, for your questions. And we hope everybody's able to leave with a full body yes. And there's someone else who wants to quickly say hi, little Nunu, completing the family. So let's wave her and each other goodbye. And I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. See you in Czechia.
See you in Czechia.
Bye.
Bye-bye.